What's up, party people? Uh, Once again, I was just sitting here thinking, and just bear with me, because I'm gonna explain everything out to you, but just bear with me. Because see, like I was in Catholic school. I was in Catholic school all the way up until seventh grade. So even though y'all know I'm not Catholic, but I went through all. Well, I didn't participate in everything, but I had to be present at all the masses and all the confessions, communions, and everything. And according to the Bible, there's paradise, and God created paradise, and He created Adam and Eve. And one of the things He blessed us with was free will, the ability to choose our paths in life. You know what I mean? Because it never really made sense for me for God to give us free will, but be like, only do what I tell you. You have free will, but only do what I tell you. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm trying to think of the same level as God, because not even close. Not even close. I'm just trying to expand my understanding, as y'all know. But like I said, He gave us free will and gave us paradise. And in paradise, there was only one rule: do not consume fruit from the tree of knowledge. Only rule. You can have any and everything else here. Just don't pluck from the tree of knowledge. Now, the thing that always ain't sit right with me is God's all-knowing. God's everywhere at once. So, especially with giving us the gift of free will, God knew Adam and Eve was going to eat from that tree. God knew that He was going to have to cast us out of paradise. He knew it was coming. So my whole question was always, why put the tree there? Why would you put the tree there knowing that these two knuckleheads was going to pluck from that tree the second they got a chance? Like, God could have put that tree anywhere. He could have put that tree on the tallest mountain or the highest mountain. He could have put it in the middle of the ocean. Hell, He could have made that tree a thorn bush. But He made the tree of knowledge an apple tree and told Adam and Eve, you can have every and anything in paradise, just don't pluck from that apple tree right there. Knowing full well, as soon as they got the chance, they was going to do it. That always bothered me. I always, because God don't make mistakes. He don't make mistakes. So why in the world would He put an apple tree in the middle of his paradise? Put all this work in to create all this, knowing full well they was going to touch it. And once again, like I said, I'm not trying to get on the level of thinking like God or anything like that. It's just a personal understanding. And I understand that a lot of things ain't meant for us to understand. But that doesn't mean we can't be in pursuit of that understanding. Might not be meant, but we still have the free will to be in pursuit of that understanding. But like I said, that always was a question for me. And then I see the movie, and I can't remember the name of the movie, but basically, it was this man who gathered these 4 professors to this house or this cabin, and he was explaining to them that he's been alive for 14,000 years. And basically the argument was whether he was the Son of God or not, whether he was Jesus Christ. And the guy tells him these stories about certain historical events that he's witnessed and been a part of. And this goes on for, a little while, to the point where the professors, who each were, masters in their own philosophies, it got to a point where they started to rebuke what they were being told. They were like, no way. There's no way you could be 14,000 years old, because it goes against everything we've been taught, everything that we know. Like, there's no way that's possible. It goes against all our sciences. So they started to kind of become combative about it. So the guy, he relents. He says, you know what? You're right. My bad. I was just fooling y'all. It just started out as a story, but then y'all was going along with it. So I just wanted to see how far I could take it. I'm sorry for wasting your time. You're free to go. My apologies. So, the professors, they all start to leave one by one. And 3 of them leave. And one begins to walk out the house. But as he's coming out the house, he overhears the guy and the girl, because there's another girl there, having a conversation. And basically, the guy was telling her some of the names that he's used in his past lives. And as the professor overhears this, he recognizes one of the names he used. And the guy turns around, and when the professor looks at him, he recognizes him. He's like, oh my God, you were my professor. You taught me. You had a beard then. And, the guy acknowledges, well, yeah, I had a beard then. So that professor realizes that everything this guy was telling him was true, but it shocks him to the point where he instantly dies of a heart attack. He dies on the spot from a heart attack after he just learned the truth. Now, there's a bunch of ways or a bunch of things you could take away from that movie, regardless what your philosophy is, religion, life, whatever have you. But one of the things I took was, now, if that professor never overheard that conversation, he would have just went on with the rest of his life like the other 3 professors. But because he heard that information, it was such a shock to him that it killed him. So you could basically say that knowledge killed him. Which brought me to the thought of the dangers of knowledge. And what I mean by the dangers of knowledge is, it's a double-edged sword. It's pros and cons to it, because people are pretty weary of people that know too much. If you know too much about anything, some people get kind of mistrustful in that. Or you might get looked at a certain way, or sometimes too much knowledge makes you ignorant to other possibilities or other perceptions or other theories or other ideas, because you're so focused on what you know and what you learn that you're not accepting of any other possibilities. Like, you become narrow-minded. So going back to the tree, like I said, in Catholic school, they always taught us that the reason why we was kicked out of paradise was because of disobedience. We broke God's one and only rule. therefore branding all of us with the original sin. But I think it's a little bit more than that. I think that the reason why God put that tree there and let all that play out was because it wasn't the pursuit of knowledge. It was gaining knowledge before you're ready. Like, you have to be ready to be able to accept certain truths and certain possibilities. And if you're not ready, then you're just going to reject it or be ignorant to it. So I think that the reason why God put that tree there is because eventually we was going to be ready for that knowledge when the time was right. It's just when Adam and Eve ate from that tree, we wasn't ready. So I think it was more than just disobedience. I just think that we, through our free will, or Adam and Eve's free will, we opened the door that we just wasn't ready for yet. It wasn't time. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with the pursuit of knowledge. There's nothing wrong with gaining knowledge. But we just have to be mindful of some of the arrogance or the ignorance or the inacceptance of continued learning. Because you learn something every day. Matter of fact, that's how you learn. You learn through exchanging ideas. You learn through debating with people, talking with people. But in order for you to really get the full gist of it, you have to remain humble. You have to remain open-minded. You have to remain accepting of other people's ideas and views and perceptions. Because you can learn anything from anybody. We never stop learning. It never stops. There's never a point when you know everything. Like, there's always room to learn more, as long as you're open to it. So that's what I think the lesson or the understanding I was supposed to get from that is to always remain humble, always remain open-minded, and always remain accepting of other people's views or positions. Like, you don't have to just totally disregard them or, just kick them to the curb. It's just another factor in the equation. It's just another number or symbol in the formula. Whether it's right or wrong, it's just, like I said, another factor. It really doesn't have to be here or there. Like, yeah, 2 + 2 is 4, but so is 3 + 1. It doesn't make it wrong. It's just another factor in the equation. But if you're just so stuck on 2 + 2 being 4, and you're closed-minded to the idea that 3 + 1 is 4, then you're limiting yourself. Like I said, just because it's not the same as you, it doesn't make it wrong necessarily. It's just another factor in the equation. So yeah, that's pretty much what I came to about that. To stay humble, to always be open-minded, always try to be accepting and open to other people's views and ideas. Like, especially with all the division that we have going on now. Everybody thinks, oh, I'm right, you're wrong, that's it. And it's not about all that. Sometimes they are wrong. Sometimes they could be right too. It's just another factor of the equation. And if you keep just shrugging them off or dismissing them, then you're closing yourself off to the full formula. And it's not complete. You're really not going to be able to get anywhere like that. It got to be complete. Well, yeah, that's just something I was thinking about. I don't know. Like I said, I'm still on my journey. I'm still trying to learn. I'm still trying to understand. And I'm really still trying to hopefully, I don't know, make something better in any way I can. So let me know what y'all think. Am I nuts? Or might I possibly be onto something? That's it. Y'all be blessed, be safe. One.